What's going on YouTube? It's Teach, back again with another video, and today we're going to run through my 2023-24 NFL postseason predictions. Wildcard weekend is here. Super excited to preview all 6 games that we'll see this week. Of course, we're also going to have the Hurry Up Offense out on the channel later on this week on Wednesday at noon. That's where we're going to get some of our betting advice. I'm just predicting winners today. I'm not necessarily taking lines. We'll do more of that on Wednesday, taking, who's getting too many points and all that stuff. So some of the picks I make today may maybe a little contrary to what I'll take on Wednesday. So just picking winners today, and apologies, I'm looking over my shoulder. My dog is with me. Maybe we'll get him to make a celebrity Super Bowl pick. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm hoping to have this up before the national title game kicks off on Monday, by the way. So just in case you're seeing this before, kickoff for the Huskies and the Wolverines, I have bet Washington money line. I am rooting for Michael Penix and the Huskies. But in my heart of hearts, I think I know Michigan's going to win this game, which I don't hate. I'm not a Notre Dame. I can't have Michigan win. I'm fine. I'm not one of those fans. But I am definitely pulling for the Huskies tonight. But realizing maybe it's the Wolverines that are the better team. Anyways, let's start talking AFC wildcard action, and we begin with fun wildcard games, man. And I've already got all this planned out, so kind of stick with me. I kind of think I have an idea of what I think some of the big storylines of the postseason are going to be. And that kind of starts with Houston getting a win. I do think that, one, it's a great story for this rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, getting into the postseason, winning the division in and of itself is a huge accomplishment. Really, when I look at these two on paper, Cleveland's defense is suffocating, no doubt about it. And if the Browns win this game, they probably get a ton of pressure on C.J. Stroud. To me, though, it's just can Amari Cooper be the only thing that, stands out for this Browns offense? I know David Njoku's had a lot of big games, but he's not a crisp route runner. He's more just this awesome athlete you just want to get the ball in the hands of. So really, I think the make or break point is not only Cleveland's, pass rush and how that, stacks up against Houston's offensive line, but does David Njoku have a big game? If Njoku's quiet, I think the Texans come out with a win, because that means that, it was Amari Cooper who will do what Amari Cooper does, and then that's probably it for this Cleveland offense. But if there's multiple factors and there's a second big name in the mix, then okay, Cleveland's probably winning this. But I think Houston gets it done. I mean, I really like that passing attack. I think the defense is scrappy enough. Just need to bounce back this week, play the run really well. And if they do that, force Cleveland to be one-dimensional, take away Amari Cooper, I think there's a plan in place for Houston to get this win. Then we get to Miami and Kansas City, and really, I don't have a whole lot of faith in either one of these two teams, but I think Miami gets it done. Look, Kansas City's defense is still one of the better units in the league, but it's definitely not the top 3, top 5 unit that it was, by mid-season or so. And I think if there's going to be a team that knows how to play Tyreek Hill, Kansas City's definitely a good one. And they'll be able to bring a lot of pressure. I expect Spagnuolo to bring in a ton of pressure trying to confuse that offensive line. But Tua gets the ball out of his hands quick. You should have Raheem Mostert back. You should have Jalen Waddle back for this game. Those were 2 big losses, not in the lineup for the Bills game. And I know it's only one win against a team over 500, but I think the Dolphins can do it. I think they get it done here on the road. And also, this is just not the same Kansas City team of a year prior, right? They're at home here, but if they win here, that'll be the end of it, right? They'll almost certainly be going on the road, which is something we just haven't seen from Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And honestly, I think that trend continues. We still don't see them play a road playoff game, because I got the Dolphins upsetting them there in the first round. Then we get to Bills and Steelers. I think the Bills clearly the better side here. It was the weekend the Bills had a big win. Oh, the Cowboys game. It was the Sunday before that game had kicked off. I had made a bold Super Bowl prediction with some friends over brunch, and said it's going to be Bills-Niners. So, little spoiler alert for where this video is going. And I stand by it, man. I think those are 2 teams that are playing as good a football as anybody else across the league right now. I think the difference between Mason Rudolph and Josh Allen is light years. And also, I think Sean McDermott's done a really nice job turning that defense around. As they've gotten more and more banged up, he's getting better and better play out of the guys that he does have at his arsenal. All right, let's switch over to the NFC side. I'm going with a little bit of a surprise here. Look, kind of like what I said about Kansas City. This is a flawed Philadelphia team, and I think after Wildcard Weekend, the story is the 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl last year don't make it past Wildcard Weekend, and they're just imperfect versions of the team that they were a season ago. A lot is still there, but they're just not as good as they were a season ago for various reasons. And I like Nick Sirianni a lot. I like Jalen Hurts. I like a lot of what's there in Philadelphia. That defense has taken a huge step back. Even their pass rush is not as dominant as it has been. And, I think they might be able to get some interior pressure against the Bucs. I think this could be a huge Jalen Carter game for sure. But I also think the Bucs are a really good team that can stop the run with the best of them across any given team, any given week. And if they do that and force Jalen Hurts with a broken finger to win by passing, that complicates things. And ultimately, I think that's going to be the game script. Force Philadelphia to be one-dimensional, force Jalen Hurts and a banged-up finger and a banged-up knee to beat you through the air and with his own legs. And this is going to be a huge game for Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean. If they can take away A.J. Brown, then I think the Bucs have got a really good shot. But I think Baker Mayfield gets back on track. His health is going to be a huge question mark. It's something I'm definitely monitoring throughout the rest of this week. But if he's 100%, Mike Evans 100%, I think they can put some big numbers against that Phillies secondary. And then we get to the 3-6 matchup, and I think Matt Stafford leaves Ford Field with a W. I really do. Man, the way Sean McVay is orchestrating that offense, as long as Stafford's healthy, he's got those receivers and Kyron Williams. Said it time and time again, they're good to go. And then now you got this Detroit team that, the injury for Laporte is not as severe as it might have been or could have been, but he's going to miss this week. And also Khalif Raymond with the big injury. So this is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown and who else maybe who could step up the Lions. I know Jameson Williams, former first-round pick, but still the usage is not saying that, hey, he's our number 2 guy, right? Like the Saints use Rashid Shaheed more than the Lions use Jameson Williams, which is, kind of wild to say out loud. But I still think the Lions are a really good team, but also that defense is, secondary is a big question mark. They only have one pass rusher right now. I think the Rams are actually a really good matchup against the Lions. And I just think because of that, I think McVay and Stafford, they go into Detroit and they come away with a win. It's been a great story. Good, first division win in like 30 years for the Lions. That's awesome. But I got to say, potentially hot take here. I think the story's better than the team in Detroit right now. And then we get to the Cowboys-Packers. I think Mike McCarthy takes down his former team, and this will solidify that he's going to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year. Honestly, to me, he probably needs to win 2 playoff games to maintain his head coaching status. Like, you're the 2 seed. If you beat the 7 seed, to me, that's not all that impressive on Jerry Jones. But I think he gets it done here. Been really impressed with Jordan Love, but Dallas is, and I also want to shout out Rasheed Walker. He's had a huge turnaround the last month of the season. And I think him and Zach Tom might end up actually being the Green Bay starting tackle tandem next year. But this Cowboys pass rush is on another level, and I actually think the way Dallas's corners play matches up really well with what Green Bay's trying to do with those offenses, with those receivers, 2 really strong play callers this year, Mike McCarthy, Matt LaFleur, and that's really going to be where this game is won. All right, let's get on to the divisional round now. We get Bills versus Texans. I'm going to take Buffalo here. Again, I think the Bills are on a roll right now. Still trying to figure out who's going to be that chief guy in the wide receiver room. It should be Stephon Diggs. It was in Week 18. Hopefully Gabe Davis, I don't think he's the biggest difference maker, but he adds an element to the offense and he forces you to respect that over-the-top element that opens up some other things. But man, the way they're getting the ball into Khalil Shakir's hands, Dalton Kincaid, James Cook, I'm loving it. This has got to be a postseason where they don't turn the football over. But that's the thing, it's like turnover can be a little bit, variable. And if the Bills go on a 4 or 5 week stretch where they just don't turn the football over, there's not much else standing in the way of them winning a Super Bowl for real. And then we get to Ravens Dolphins. I think Baltimore wins this one as well. I don't think it'll be 55-16 or 56-14 or whatever it was a couple weeks ago. But man, I like the Ravens a lot, man. You give a couple weeks for Mike McDonald to scheme up against you. The way he's orchestrated great game plan after great game plan this year, that makes it for a really tough proposition. No matter how good Miami's offense is, facing that Baltimore defense is tough. And Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to continue having a prove-it type of season. Then we get over to the NFC side. I'll be quick here. It's actually going to continue to mirror what I've had on the AFC side. I didn't plan for that necessarily, but as I was going through the matchups, thinking about what I think could be the difference, my left side, my AFC wild card played out the exact same as my NFC, and same thing here with the divisional round. I like the 1 and 2 seed advancing. I think these are the 2 best teams in the NFC right now. I know Dallas is an imperfect roster, but I think they hold up a lot better against Tampa Bay. And I also think the home field of it all makes a big difference. Tampa gets to play at home against Philly, and now Dallas gets to do the same thing against Tampa. This Dallas team is definitely a different squad. When they're at home, you feel their speed a whole lot more. I think you'll put that on display against Tampa. And then, Shanahan's kind of pretty much always had McVay's number, excluding Week 18, backups playing, all that stuff. The Wentz-Darnold Bowl. I just think, when all is there, San Francisco, that offense is too good. That defense is still insane too. Plus, kind of like what I talked about, 2 weeks for Mike McDonald prep, 2 weeks for Kyle Shanahan to put together a script. Honestly, his script might stretch out to like 24, 25 plays, and they might have the first 3 to 4 drives orchestrated, which way Kyle Shanahan scripts out his games, that's a terrifying thought for the Rams. All right, on to championship weekend. I'll be quick to it because I've already alluded to what I think the matchup's going to be. Bills 49ers. I think the Bills are a red hot team right now, maybe the hottest team in football. Josh Allen's playing as good as any quarterback in football, maybe better than any other quarterback in football right now, and they just got to avoid turnovers. That's going to be the difference in this game. Baltimore's a team that's been really good, especially at home, in regards to turnover margin. The Bills go in there and they lose the turnover margin by 3, or definitely by 4, then they're coming up with an L here, no doubt. But if this game finishes with no turnovers, each team has 1, I think I like the Bills right now. I like the Bills a lot. And I mean, I think Mike Macdonald has done more with what's on that roster, defensively. Not that it's a bad defense, but I think he's exceeded expectations for what should be there. And I think Sean McDermott over the last 6 weeks has done that a ton. Maybe not to the same heights McDonald has, but he's doing it with weaker talents. We were talking about Von Miller being a healthy scratch 2 weeks ago, that type of stuff. Dean Jackson going out there and playing. But yeah, I mean, this is going to come down to turnover margin, and also how you contain Lamar's legs. This feels like a game where he can win it through the air, but once he becomes that dual threat and he fully maximizes what he can bring to the field, then Buffalo might have a steep mountain to climb. And for San Francisco, first let's start with Dallas. Like I said, they're a different team at home. I really buy into that. It may not be as exaggerated as I might not believe it's as exaggerated as some people think it is, but I think it's worth at least half a point or so on the betting market, just to put him on a neutral field, let alone taking him away from home field. And I think you see it a little bit with their speed. But this is also just a team that's got Dallas's number. And, Dallas is, I think, more physical this year. I see them getting more scrappy. And, it's like Zach Martin, Dak Prescott gets hit late after the play. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. Zach Martin's obviously not having any of that. So they play with a little bit more of that, chip on their shoulder, so to speak, that little extra edge. But I don't think as much as San Francisco. I think San Francisco is the more talented offense, the more physical offense, and they've owned the Dallas offense. Whatever that scheme, it's Steve Wilkes' chance to do it now. In years prior, it was DeMeco Ryans, Robert Saleh. They've had the answer for that Dallas offense, and I think that trend continues and sets us up for a San Francisco-Buffalo Super Bowl. And I think Kyle Shanahan lays claim to his first Super Bowl title. Brock Purdy goes from Mr. Irrelevant. If I had to make a Super Bowl MVP prediction, it's always a good one to go with the quarterback. I think Brock Purdy wins that award. Trust me, I'd be super pumped. Josh Allen's my favorite player in the league. I would be rooting for the Bills in this one. But at the same time, Kyle Shanahan lost one as a coordinator, lost one as a head coach. It's about time. The best play caller in the league right now gets that ship. All those players, and it would just be such a win for not double down on bad off-season moves. I guess I can't find the right word for it, but this team could have been no, we gave up 3 1s for Trey Lance. We're gonna have to do that. But no, they were no, the undrafted guy, or the 7th round pick, the last pick of the draft, he's the better quarterback. So we're not just gonna say, hey, well, we gave up 3 first round picks, you have to be the starter. We're gonna play the best guy, and you kind of see that up and down that roster where they're just looking for the best dudes out there, and they're quick to move on from mistakes. I love so much of their process, and for the same reason, I would love to see, even as a Steelers fan, Baltimore win the Super Bowl, just because I love their front office process, and I talk about that the last 3 weeks basically here on the channel. And again, I'd love to see Buffalo win it because I think Sean McDermott, again, some of his pregame hype speeches, or however you want to phrase it, some of his methods may not be the same that I'd use, but he has gotten a lot of that defense, a lot more than he should have. And Josh Allen, my favorite player in the league, he is playing like an MVP right now. Not that he's going to win that award, but he is playing like one over the last 6 weeks. But guys, I'd love to know what you think about this upcoming postseason, schedule. Who do you think makes the Cinderella run? Is it going to be super chalky? Is it 1 and 2 seeds all the way through like I had in the championships? Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? I'd love to hear your matchup as well as Super Bowl winner. And of course, drop me a score as well down below in the comment section. Love to hear all that stuff down below. Where do you think I was right? Where do you think I was wrong? Let me hear it all down below. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Until next time, my name is Tej, and I am signing off.